Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to our lesson on using intercepts. Just want to go over our objectives real quick, and that is one, to be able to find x and y intercepts and understand what they mean in real life, and also be able to use these intercepts to graph lines. Thus, our picture of an interception. Get it? All right, let's move on to our math cap. So go ahead and take a moment to read the definition of y-intercepts and x-intercepts and restate them in your own words. Write them in your math cap. Pause the video if you need to do so. So if you were to define this according to a graph, again, the y-intercept is the point where a graph touches or crosses the y-axis, and the x-intercept is the point at which a graph touches or crosses the x-axis. And the important thing to note that is if you wanted the ordered pair of a y-intercept, the x value has to be 0, and for x-intercepts, the y value would have to be 0. So let's say you don't have a graph and all you have is an equation. Well, to find the x and y intercepts from a linear equation, first thing you want to do is replace y with 0 and solve for x. And the second step would be to find the y-intercept by replacing x with 0. So here we go. So let's say I want to find the x-intercept first. Well, that means that my y value has to be 0. So 5x minus 2y, that will now be replaced with 0, equals 10. Anything times 0 is 0, so this is just 5x is equal to 10. Therefore, my x-intercept is 2. And if I wanted the ordered pair for that, that would be 2, 0. To find my y-intercept, this time I know that my x value has to be 0, so I substitute x with 0, and now I solve for y, So here I'm going to have negative 2y is equal to 10. Therefore, y is equal to negative 5, and my ordered pair would be 0, negative 5. So now in your notes, I want you to go ahead and find the x and y intercepts for both these equations. Note that on problem number 2, it's not written in standard form. So what you can do is rewrite that equation in standard form and then do the same steps as the ones I showed you. Or you can leave it in this form and still find your x and y intercepts by substituting 0. So go ahead and do that now, pause the video, and then we'll move on. So now we are going to transition to graphing linear equations by using these intercepts. And I want to start off by looking at a real life problem. So here we have the school sells pens for $2 and notebooks for $3. And the equation that they come up with is 2x plus 3y equals 60, given that you can only buy $60 worth of items. So given this equation, first step that you want to take when you have a linear equation, you want to again find your x and y intercepts first. So you don't need to write anything down, just watch what I'm doing. So to find my x-intercept, I'm going to substitute 0 for y, and for my y-intercept, substitute 0 for x. So looking at my work, you see that the x-intercept is at 30, 0, and the y-intercept is at 0, 20. And for linear functions, you only need 2 points to graph a linear function, because you can create a line out of 2 points. And here is the graph. Note that there's labels, so this should be actually number of notebooks and number of pens. And you can see that my x-intercept is at 30, 0, and my y-intercept is at 0, 20. And because I have only positive values, that means that you can't buy a negative amount of notebooks and negative amount of pens. Now before I discuss this hint in checking your work, I just want to go over what these x and y intercepts could mean in a real life situation. So here, this x-intercept of 30, 0 means that if you buy 30 pens, then you would have no money to buy notebooks because you will have spent $60. Same goes over here. If I buy 20 notebooks, I would have to buy 0 pens to make sure that I stay in my budget of $60. Well, now I want to get into how to check your work to make sure that you have graphed your linear equation correctly. So if you read the helpful hint here, it says that you can either choose a point from your graph and plug it into the equation, or you can use your equation to get a point and check it on the graph. So let's do the first hint. So if I choose a point from the graph and plug into the equation, it should work. So let's see, I have this place right here, and that order pair is 15, 10. So if I plug that into my equation, 2 times 15 plus 3 times 10, that should give me 60. So 2 times 15 is 30, 3 times 10 is 30, 60 is equal to 60. So that is one way to check your linear equations. Second way, as stated in the hint, is to generate a point from your equation. So let's say I want to use 5 for x. If I use 5 for x and I wanted to know what point would go along with 5, I would have to solve for y. So here I have 10 plus 3y is equal to 60. And if I solve for y, I'm going to have 3y equals 50. And y would approximately be equal to, what is that? 17. And so here I just generated an ordered pair. Again, if I use 5 for x and approximately 17 for y, that should be on my graph. And if I find that point, that looks about right. So 5x, 17 is above 15, so that works. So 2 ways to check your linear equations to make sure that you have created it correctly. Now for your practice problems, I want you to, for each of these 2 equations, first find the intercepts, the x and y, and then use those intercepts to graph a line. So I will see on your notes the work to find your x and y intercepts, and then a graph. Same thing here. X and y intercepts, and then a graph. On the second equation, again, it's not in standard form, so you can rewrite this in standard form if you like, and generate your x and y intercepts from there. Or you can just substitute 0 for x and y given this form already. Now here is our random image for this lesson. Considering it's Thursday and it seems to be trendy on Facebook to post old pictures of yourself, this is my tribute to Throwback Thursday. This is me in the 6th grade. Notice my awesome purple flower shirt. I was very cool. No, not really. Alright, moving on to our last slide. So I wanted to just go over 3 things. 1, I will check your notes on Monday. 2, in class tomorrow with a sub, your classwork will be due in class. So please make sure you stay on task. And just a reminder to please make sure that you are adhering to our agreements, that you are going to be nice, work hard, not just for me, but for whoever is in there with you. And I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.